certainly in terms of the election, what got missed?
Well, there were some late breakers. I mean, we were all late to the Railroad Commission race. I mean, if you want to talk about it in terms of this race and this race and this race, we didn't see Dora Olivo getting beat in Rosenberg. We didn't see Tommy Merritt getting beat. This wasn't a high stakes election, except for the governor's race. The House wasn't at risk in the primary, Texas House. The U.S. House, that piece of legislative redistricting should go down in history. That's as solid a map as I've ever seen. Nothing changes in Congress. So there weren't a lot of high stakes things out there. I think we were late to the Tea Party thing.
Yeah, I think we covered the Tea Party, but
Right.
we didn't.
Right.
I mean, we still don't really know, I think, fully know what's going on out there. Not just the Tea Party, but the mood in Texas. What caused Victor Carrillo to lose? I mean, do we really know yet?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
And so those type of things slipped up on us. But I think you're right. It turned out to be a dud of an election. So,
Well, this was a dull election in that context because there was no speaker politics. This is the first time this decade that, there wasn't a battle for the speakership, either for Craddock to gain it or to hold on to it.
Tom Craddock, don't
God bless him.
Well, one of the things that, just from a political journalism standpoint that everybody was sort of waiting for and didn't get was if Kay gets out of that seat, it starts this big game of musical chairs, and we get to see the whole ballot shift. What we have instead is a Republican ballot that with an upset like Victor Carrillo aside, is a set ballot. It's like nothing's going to happen on that side. So we have the 7 executive seats are set. The judicial seats aren't really in play. There's not really a lot of turnover here. There's not really a lot of new faces. They don't have to really develop issues in the same way that they would if these were all open seats.
We were cheated.
We were cheated, that's
Now,
right.
do you think,
We were cheated.
So, given the way you've talked about this, do you think the things that disappointed you and the things that you were watching contributed? I mean, do you think there's a pattern there of what you guys tend to watch that leads to what you miss?
Probably.
I mean, it seems to me like when you say that you miss the Tea Party is more of a kind of feeling out there.
I don't know if we didn't.
Forgive the word missed.
Right. We didn't. I don't think
Causes us pain.
we were sort of late,
Yeah.
and we were all out there April 15th, right?
Yeah.
But I think after April 15th, it took a little while to really take those guys.
It's interesting that Perry was never behind, one poll accepted, was never behind after June, isn't that right? Mm-hmm. And it took everybody a while, probably September, October, before they realized just how lopsided this race had become. And we had to wait and see, okay, Kay's going to roll out in August, and she had that rollout such as it was. I think I can cram 400 people into a 5,000 person venue, that kind of, and it just never happened. And I think we were slow. I think this is part of missing the Tea Party movement. I think it's part of missing the mood of the voters. We didn't realize how early this race was really in the bag, and move on to other things like, in Collin County, there's 3 Tea Parties. So they're mad, but they don't know yet what they're mad about. They haven't coalesced around an issue. And I think the thing going forward that's going to be interesting is, does this, the sort of what I call the middle finger primary, does this angry voter thing coalesce around a candidate or an idea? And it hasn't yet.
You refer to the angry voter. The question is it was at the beginning, and it remains the question. On judicial candidates' campaigns, people have to go get signatures for petitions and to put them on the ballot. And you have groups that go do this, and they figured the Tea Party was the events were the biggest and best place to go get signatures. Turned out that 2/3 of the people at the Tea Party events weren't registered voters.
Right.
To me, the biggest area that we did not cover was the effort at the conservative purge, but the conservative purge, in a sense, got hijacked by a Tea Party that didn't have registered voters.
Right.
So it never really happened. If anything, this was a validation of incumbents this cycle.
So maybe it's not really the Tea Party. Maybe it's a Tea Party.
Right.
I mean, we talked about it earlier. Just the issues.